how do I pray and what are some practical prayer hacks we can do to connect with the Lord? Okay, here we go. Number one is this: get alone with God. That's my first step. Get alone with God. Matthew 6:6, it says, when you pray, go into your room, close the door, pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Okay? So pray in secret, pray alone. This is my prayer hack for you with this. Set a time, set a location. Notice this. He said, go into your room. There's a location. Go into your room at a place where there's not a distraction. So find the time that is best for you and set that as a reoccurring time to pray. If you just say, oh man, I really just got to pray more often, like you never will. But if you set a time, I'm going to meet the Lord. And the idea is this, is if you told your friend, hey, we should hang out sometime, you know with me that never happens. And every time you see them, yeah, we should hang out sometime, never happens. But when you get out the calendar and you say, okay, what time are we hanging out? And you put it in your calendar. I will meet you at that coffee shop at 10 o'clock a.m. on Tuesday. Then it's going to happen because it's there. So the first prayer thing I can give you that if you want to grow in prayer is set a time for it. In your phone. It's not spiritual at all. Get your phone out and be like, when am I at my best to talk to God? 9 at night, 9 in the morning, middle of the day, whatever. Set a time and it'll happen. You can also talk to God all throughout the day. You know, you can be at work or in your car and talk to God. That's like if you got a text message from your friend and you just messaged them all throughout the day. But there's something different when you set up a reoccurring meeting with God in the morning or at night to connect with him. So set a time, set a location, and let it be a time when you know you are at your best to talk to him. So Luke 5:16, but Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness to pray. He went to a different location. So the prayer, if you just say, oh man, I really just got to pray more often, like you never will. Closet, the idea with the prayer closet, it doesn't have to be a closet, okay? If you just say, oh man, I really just got to pray more often, like you never will. The idea with the prayer closet is it's a secret place away from distraction. Jesus, sometimes for him, that was the wilderness. Sometimes for him, that was the forest. Sometimes it was a closet. The point is if you just say, oh man, I really just got to pray more often, like you never will. Where can you go to be alone with God? That's your prayer closet. That's your secret place. If you just say, oh man, I really just got to pray more often, like you never will. God wants a secret history with you alone, with him. And that is already going to boost your prayer life, okay? So challenge, pull out your phones right now and put in your phone, meeting with God, prayer meeting with God alone tomorrow at this time. All right, Daniel did this. When Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber. See, so for him, he was this big guy moving in the city. For him, it was a room, his upper chamber. For Jesus, he didn't have a house. So for Jesus, it was the forest. For Daniel, it's the upper room. For other people, it's your car, wherever it is. Okay. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before God as he had done previously. So when tragedy struck and Daniel had to seek the Lord, he just did what he had already previously done. At these times every day, I go and pray. I love this. Martin Luther, guy changed the world. He said this. He said, I've got so much work to do today. I'd better spend 2 hours in prayer instead of 1. You see, I love that quote because if you're like me, this is what happens is we say, oh, well, you know, like God gets it. Like I'm really busy today and prayer is the thing that goes, right? We're like, God understands. He gets it. He knows I'm busy. He knows my heart. And the truth is, yes, he totally does. The issue is that your spirit doesn't know. So God understands, but your soul doesn't understand. Why did we not try to connect with God today? And you will feel depleted and you will feel empty. Martin Luther here, he knew that the answer was not more productivity. The answer was more prayer. So he's like, I got so much I got to do today. Well, that means I got to spend more time in prayer. You will get more done in less time if you set aside time to pray. So here's another prayer hack for you is silence your notifications, okay? When you're in an important meeting, you don't answer the phone, right? Basically, notice that verse. It says, when you pray, go into your room and close the door. That's like the modern way of saying put your phone on silent. Like put it on do not disturb, put the phone away. If all it takes to interrupt your prayer life is a little bing, like a ding on your phone, oh, you better bet the moment you go to pray every time, the devil's going to make sure someone contacts you, texts you, notification goes up on your phone, something like that. I've tried this. Almost every time I go to pray, my phone starts going off. So what I do is I put it on do not disturb, I put it in the other room, and I seek God. What is the modern day version of this? Closing the door in your life. That's what you've got to do, okay? Close the door, turn off the phone. The point is get away from distractions. That is going to grow your prayer life. Another one is this. I'm just giving you real practical. Everyone tells me I just need practical help on how to grow in prayer. Here's another practical one. Set a timer. Because you could talk to God all day long, and that's great. And I do. Like I'm at work, I'm doing things, I'm talking to God. I'm at the coffee shop, I'm talking to God. Yes, always do that. But the truth is, more often than not, you don't end up doing it, right? I mean, come on, be real with me, right? When you set a timer, it says for this time, I am doing this thing, right? And you set timers for things that are important to you in your life. You set a timer to wake up to get to work because it's important. When you set a timer, see, this is what happens is otherwise you're praying, you're worshiping, and if you know you got to go in 30 minutes, you're worshiping, you're praying, and every 5 minutes you're checking the phone because you don't know how much time has gone by. Every 5 minutes, that's an opportunity for another distraction. You're like, oh, what time is it? Oh, okay. What time is it? Oh, okay. What time is it? Oh, okay, right? Because you're always worried, am I not going to miss it? And you can never fully connect with God because you're still thinking about what you got to go do. When you set a timer, you're able to just forget and you're just like, I'm with the Lord, and the beeper will go off when it's time for me to leave to go to work or whatever I got to do. So what I would practically say is set a goal, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. My devotional in general, this isn't a formula. In general, I try to do about an hour a day if I can. And I try to do about 20 minutes just worshiping the Lord. Then I do about 20 minutes just praying. Then I do 20 minutes just reading the Bible. That's what I try to do. That's a goal for me. It ebbs and flows in seasons, but that's a goal. Okay, so and another prayer hack is to just make a prayer list. Okay, as I'm telling you, this is super not spiritual stuff, but it will help your spirituality. Okay, is make a prayer list, but follow the Spirit. What do I mean by that? Okay, Philippians 4:6, don't worry about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known for God. Okay, so have you ever said, oh, I need to talk to you about something. I have all these questions. I need to talk to you. And then finally, when you meet that person, you're like, ooh, I forgot what I was going to say. Have you ever done that before? I know I definitely have done that. And I'm like, I got to meet up. And then when we meet up, you're like, you remember one question and you're like, I could have sworn I had more questions, but I forgot. Because you didn't write it down, okay? And one of the greatest ways you can honor people for those questions time is if you just write down the questions you have so that you don't have to remember it. It's the same thing with prayer. Is that people, they always struggle because they say, well, I don't know what to talk to God about. But then when they go on through their day, they actually have something come up. They're like, ooh, I need to pray about that. Oh, I told my friend I would pray for them. Oh, I said... And if you were to write those things down, pray for my mom, pray for my dad, pray for this, ask for this, need wisdom for this, what happens is your prayer time becomes very easy because then you just get out your little prayer journal. I got mine right here. Super easy. I just get out my prayer journal and I'm tired. It's 6 a.m. and I can't think straight. My brain's all over. Like I'm waking up, I'm getting my coffee, right? And what I do is I don't have to think about my prayer requests because I already wrote them down. So I just go like this. I just open it up and I go, oh, what am I? Oh, yeah. God, I need to pray, God, for my family member for this. And it's just a reminder. And the best part is that the Spirit moves through this. So what do I mean by that is that when you have a list, each one is not legalism. You don't need to get through the list every day. Use them as a springboard to jump off of and connect to the Spirit. So you start praying for that job or that friend, and then you feel the Spirit and you just start going, and before you know, you prayed for 20 minutes everything you want to pray for that, and then your time's up. You don't have to go through the list. The list is just there so that maybe you prayed everything you know how to pray, and now you're like, now what do I do? You just go to the next thing on the list. It's great. Rarely do I get through my prayer list because I start praying for other things as I'm in it. So don't be legalistic about it, okay? The prayer list is there to help you flow, but it's not there. Like if God starts showing you something else, go with that. That's totally okay. But the prayer list helps. I'm telling you, it changed my prayer life and it allowed this part to happen. All of my requests to be known to God. And there was days when I felt too weak and too broken, and I just said, God, here's my prayer requests. There they are. I just take them all, right? You can do that, all right? There we go. Hey, I hope those prayer hacks were helpful for you. But to be honest, some people, even though practically they know what to do, they don't know how to talk to God. They feel kind of almost socially awkward. Like, what do I say to him? So if you want to know how to approach God, how to talk to him, how to even act, go ahead. Click this video right over here. And if you want to know a full deep dive study all about personal prayer, hit this video right here. I'm going to go into what is prayer, why we pray, how does it change the spiritual realms, what does it mean for you. It's a long deep dive study. Click this one right over here. But hey, if you like this video, please hit the like button to get it out there and consider subscribing. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.